Silverman, your host. If you've just discovered me, there's a whole load of other episodes for you to delve into. And this is just a really brief intro because I'm just back from a weekend away camping in the Lake District, which was such good tonic for the soul. Climbed a mountain, just spent a lot of time outdoors, and if you haven't yet, definitely do it before the dark nights set in, as that's it for kind of summertime, isn't it? Hence me wanting a little bit of a bird song in the background. Now, this episode you're going to hear is a conversation I had with a couple that I met on Instagram, Katy and Tom. It's my Meet the Makers series where I'm trying to showcase people doing cool stuff. And do listen to the end because they offer a little discount code for what it is they're making. If you haven't yet followed me on Insta or Twitter, I'm at Fertility Poddy. The Fertility Podcast has a page on Facebook, just called that. And there's also the Talk Fertility closed Facebook group where you're more than welcome to come and join the conversation and ask questions, because I've got a whole load of my former guest experts as kind of admins, so they're really helpful in the group as well. For now though, just enjoy the show. So welcome to another episode of Meet the Makers, which is my new series, finding the people that are making cool stuff as a result of what's a shitty situation. And I'm finding you in all different places, and obviously Instagram is such a massive community for the TTC space. There's bound to be lots of exciting stuff happening, and I'm going to introduce a husband and wife who have been making socks. Katy and Tom Jenkins, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we had a few technical issues. I thought I was going to have to say we're going to have to leave it, but we've done it, so I'm really excited. Now, I spotted your socks on Instagram, and socks are obviously a thing, and I know that the main reason for the socks was to add a bit of fun into what's gone on. But before we talk about that, can we just talk a little bit about what's gone on? Your experience of anything to do with stuff going wrong happened at possibly the worst point. Not that there's ever a good point for anything to go wrong when you're trying to have a family, but you basically suffered a loss just before you were due to get married, didn't you?
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks before, and we went to our 12-week scan, and we actually found out at the scan, and there was no heartbeat, and it was devastating, absolutely devastating.
So we went in thinking that we was going to see the first scan, and that was the day that they told us, so that was quite a rough one.
Yeah, and we got married 3 weeks after that.
Yeah.
What a kind of bittersweet day that must have been.
Oh, it was. I thought at one point, oh, do we postpone it? But then I thought, no, we want to do this. So, yeah, we carried on. And everyone said it was like the best wedding that they went to, because it was like a small wedding, but...
Yeah, it wasn't the same. We were supposed to have a big wedding. That was the plan. But because
we brought it forward,
Katy fell pregnant, we decided, let's get the wedding out of the way while she's pregnant, and then we'll deal with the, hopefully have the baby later, so we didn't have to worry about a wedding. So that's why we went for a smaller wedding, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then that was already booked and everyone was due to arrive, and then we found that out, and then it was just sort of a very surreal type thing, wasn't it? And then we ended up having a smaller wedding, and we didn't have the baby, so it was tough.
It was very bittersweet.
Yeah.
And quite a lot to just get your head around, all these things that you're trying to process at what should be a happy time. Were you able then to manage a bit of grieving? Because the kind of the assumption is that you just got married, yay! Yet you've just come through something really difficult, and you want to be sad, but you want to be happy as well.
Yeah, I think I always said Tom grieved quite quickly. It took me a few months actually, because obviously with the wedding and everything, I still had that planning to do, so it took me a few months, and then
it was quite strange because I never get emotional really, and then I was quite emotional straight away after, because everyone in our family, as soon as they've been pregnant, not Katy's side, my side, they just have a baby. So I always thought, you get pregnant, you have a baby, and that's that. So we've never gone through any, no one's ever lost it before, so I was quite emotional from that, which sort of helped me straight away, whereas Katy sort of held on to it, didn't you, for a while. And I think she had a few rough times after that, until she got hold of, this community, which sort of got everything back to where it was, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Which was good, yeah.
Because Katy, am I right in saying that you found people online after a second miscarriage? That was when you started to look and to see if there were people that you could just get some some support and some inspiration from.
Definitely. So it was literally exactly a year later. We fell pregnant again, but we knew quite early on that wasn't going to work out. It was what's called a blighted ovum. So my body thought it was still pregnant and it was growing the sac, the gestational sac, but then they have to call it at a certain time, and I think that was about 10 weeks. And when they said no, this isn't viable, so I went through all of that again. With, you look things online and think, you hear success stories and they found it and stuff, but no, they didn't. And then that's when I turned to Instagram, and there's quite a few Facebook groups as well, and the support on there is just brilliant. I was about 26 then, and a lot of my friends, they've either got kids or they're still out partying and everything at weekends, and we just felt in limbo, didn't we? And we didn't really, no one understood us.
No.
So it was so nice to go on to that sort of platform and find other couples going through the same thing.
And did you find it useful, Tom, or did Katy look and tell you stuff? Were you interested in reading stuff?
No, I was, because due to work and everything, so I was always away, and Katy was always on these forums. The thing I liked about it is that she was getting back to herself, so I didn't mind. She was on them like all the time, and it was good because it was keeping her mentally sort of with it, as opposed to before where she was always down and always like depressed quite a lot of the time. So I didn't mind it in that sense, but I didn't realise what they were all talking about on there and how much it does help everyone, until after like a while of Katy constantly talking about it, I decided to have, get involved myself and have a look.
And you understand it now, don't
and
you?
that's I sort of got involved. Now I'm sort of almost obsessed with everything. So it's
When you say, Tom, you got involved, did you find other men that you could talk to online?
No, I haven't found other men that I could speak to, but it was strange because I speak to everyone about it normally at work, and my friends, I've not spoke to anyone that's going through it, but I opened up way more even at work. So if Katy was having issues, I'd say, we're having trouble, she's on this site and everything, it really helps. And I know a few people that are doing IVF at work, and I'd tell them, where to go, and tell your wife to have a look at this and have a look at it yourself. And that's what sort of opened me up. Whereas before, I sort of viewed IVF a bit differently before, because I didn't understand it. And then once I understood it, I spoke to like all the people I work with now. They all know about the miscarriages we've had, about the IVF that didn't work out, and now we're on FET. I've even got lads at work that don't have a clue about any of it, going, "Oh, how's your FET?" So
I love that you're all using the acronym. It's very impressive.
Yeah, exactly. That's Katy. That is. She uses them all the time, and now like I use them, and I know them all as well, like TWW and all that.
Yeah. But that's what we want. We want to normalise this conversation. And Katy, just what Tom was saying about how before you'd found the kind of forums and the different social platforms, you were pretty down. Did you get any support or any counselling elsewhere?
I remember being referred from work, because I work at the hospital anyway. It was almost kind of because I worked there, and like I don't know everybody in the hospital, but I was a bit afraid of like, oh, what if word like gets around or something that she is feeling down. So I never took that as a route, but watching everybody's stories now and on Instagram and the help that they got, I kind of wish, I should have got help, because it kind of took it's basically took 3 years of my life, I felt, with everything going on. So I do wish, and I would say to everybody, if you feel down, definitely go and get help or talk to somebody about it.
And are you talking more openly? It sounds like Tom's like the IVF advocate in the workplace.
I've always been really open to like friends and family. Like they know everything, they follow all of my Instagram account and everything. Yeah, I have been quite open, but it's nice, like I said, to find people that are going through it as well. But all my friends have been supportive, and family, so that's good as well.
Well, we're talking at a point where you've said you've had a scan, you're kind of getting ready for your frozen embryo transfer. I'll use the whole phrase for those that don't know what an FET is. By the time we share this, we might be further along in the 2-week wait. We might have a success, who knows, we'll keep in touch. So let's bring in the socks, because the socks are there to ultimately document the journey. Tell me how you came up with them, tell me what people can get, and tell me what you want to achieve with your socks.
Yeah, so how we came up with this socks, it was quite interesting actually. At our first cycle, so the fresh cycle, the first one we ever did, at all the appointments we went to, Katie was always in like her standard socks that she was wearing.
What is your standard sock, Katie? Just a black or a white?
I bought like pineapple socks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so not your standard socks at all. You already had quirky socks.
Not your standard socks, good socks.
Good socks, all right.
She would always say, "Oh, no, I wish I could put something on these, just on social media, like what stage we were at." So say we was going in for like transfer day or something like that. There was nothing that actually said it on it. She'd always write it on the screen, and we didn't think anything of it. And then
it was after it failed, wasn't it?
It was after it failed.
We were even sat on the landing, and I was like, I want to do something.
Yeah.
Like we even thought stupidly of like not headbands, but something. But then I was like, no, that would be a bit silly. So I was like, socks.
A bit more subtle.
Socks.
So we wanted to do socks, but when we looked around at them, we seen that there's a lot of socks where the writing and maybe pictures are on the top of the foot, and but we wanted to do something that brought, because obviously it's normally couples that are going through IVF, whether that's man and man or whatever it is that's got a surrogacy and everything like that. So there's always more than one person involved. So we wanted to have two people. So obviously the woman who's going through the IVF, and the person who's with them, he can then take the photos and sort of feel. So it made me feel a bit more involved.
All right.
So as Katie's there and she's going through everything and doing what she's got to do, I can take the photos and get involved with her as well. I just feel that it's a bit more fun, and it definitely makes it a bit more. It's a talking point for social media, and it was more exciting. It's definitely more exciting, we feel, for us, yeah. So we enjoy doing that, and that's why we decided to do it.
So tell me about what you've got on the socks so far, because I've seen MB Baby on board, Sticky Vibes, TWW obviously for 2 week wait.
Got the journey starts here, which is when you start your first cycle, or whichever cycle you go to. So that's the first sock that you can use.
Or the start of any journey, Any journey, really, yeah. And then we've got a 2 week wait sock. So once you've had your transfer, that's the 2 week wait sock we've got there. That's got a little clock on it, so obviously for the wait. We've got transfer day sock, which is what we'll be using soon. Just got a little heart on it with transfer day written on the bottom. We've got M Baby on board. So once you've had your transfer, you then wait in. Obviously, hopefully, you're carrying the M Baby, and hopefully you'll get a good pregnancy test at the end of that. And then we've got Sticky Vibes, which is Katie's favourite because it's got a pineapple on it. So that's got a pineapple on it, Sticky Vibes, hoping that it sticks to the lining and you get a positive pregnancy test. And then one of my favourite ones is the Be a Warrior, Not a Worrier socks. That could be for anyone, really. Mm-hmm. So that's anyone going through whether that's mental health issues or anything. Yeah. That's for anyone going through that, and that's a really good sock as well. But it's like when we're commenting on like everyone's post, everybody's like Sticky Vibes or good luck in the 2 week wait, and it was just I just found that everybody was saying those different phrases, and I was just like on Instagram, like you follow so many people, and I just thought with these socks you can like stand out, and then it would be like, oh stop, I want to hear their story and start talking, and if other people are going through the same thing or at the same time, then they'll know straight away from the picture.
So the idea is there's a united sock front going on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think it's lovely. I mean, I've seen some quirky socks in different places from people sharing them, and I think that there's definitely a place for it, obviously, when you've got your feet up as well, to be showing off your socks. And what kind of feedback have you had so far?
A lot of people say, oh, they really like the sock. We've only been going for a month.
Yeah.
So had a few sales. Quite a few people have promoted them on Facebook on their stories, and they say that they love the colours, that they're vibrant.
There's a lot of people that say
they're like 75% cotton as well. So
lovely.
They always say, oh, they're really good quality.
I like a sock as well that's got detail on the toe and the heel, which you've done.
That's one of our things that we want. Yeah, because we
got pineapples on there as well.
Yeah.
Once we decided to do them, we was drawing sketches for ages, didn't we, about how we wanted to do them. And then we eventually came up with what we've got now, but it took a while to get it. And then obviously with the comfort of it had to be a comfortable sock. That was one of our main points, wasn't it? To get it. So it's like comfortable, stylish, looked good, and also had, you can document it. And quite a lot of the colours are quite bright and in your face colours. Yeah. So they stand out, especially on pictures. They stand out really well. So.
And it's also, if people didn't want to use them as, social media purposes, I pretty much I can use them as like my lucky socks. I almost treat them as, and just nice that I'm wearing them on that day, and if you know, I've got diaries, I've got stuff from each cycle, and that's something that can go into that box in the hope that you do have a baby in the future, and you can show, I wore these this day.
Well, there's also they're a nice gift idea, and that Instagram community is a really lovely. There's lovely posts I see of people sharing things that other people have sent to them, and I think that this is something that could really catch on with people wanting to show support to their kind of TTC pals that they've met. So I wish you the best of luck. I think it looks cool. I hope that they are your lucky socks. I hope you get your sticky vibes on when you go to your transfer, and do keep me posted.
Absolutely, yeah.
We will.
We're going to document all one anyway now, exactly, on every stage, so we better look at work this time.
Yeah, everything crossed. All right, cool. Well, best of luck with it. And if people want to get your socks, I'll put the details of how to follow you on Insta and everything in the show notes. But what's your website?
It's thejourneystartshere.co.uk, and we've got a special code for Fertility Poddy listeners, FP25 for 25% off.
Lovely.
But that's only on the individual socks, not on the actual...
The collections are discounted.
Is 20% off anyway.
Okay. So you can buy the whole collection or you can buy them individually depending on where you're at. Cool. Nice. Well, we will make it all very clear on the show notes for this as well. And look forward to seeing the collection grow. And who knows where the sock world will take you. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Very
Right, guys. Lovely to chat.
And you.
You take care. So that discount code FP25. Thank you, Katy and Tom. Very kind of you. And if you've been listening to this show recently, you'll know that I have been hosting with Kate because we've been publishing the show on UK Health Radio. This was an episode I did without Kate, but she'll be back next week. It's PCOS Awareness Month if you're listening in real time in September 2019. Kate's a specialist in helping women with PCOS, and we're going to be speaking to an expert called Adam Balin about new PCOS guidelines that are available in the UK, but I'm sure they'll be relevant wherever you're listening. If you like what you hear, please rate and review, subscribe and share this podcast wherever you get it in your favourite podcast app, or you can do it via thefertilitypodcast.com. The show notes for this episode are thefertilitypodcast.com/socks, where you can get all Katy and Tom's info, and I'll be back next week. Until the next time.